Well, hey everybody, welcome back. And yeah, I'm okay. Everything's all right. I was in those earthquakes, and I got a little story to tell you. But yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks to say the least. They had that real big one. What was it, like a 6.3 or 6.5 in Ridgecrest, California? Then what was it? The day after, they had that big one. It was a 7.1. And after that, I hopped on the USGS website, and they were predicting that there was a good chance of possibly having even a larger one within 7 to 10 days after that second one. So I thought to myself, yeah, probably a good time to be staying out of the mines, and now is a good time to get a bunch of well-needed repairs done on old Bob. So these last couple of weeks, that's what I've been doing. He's been in the shop. Brand new U-joints, a steering gearbox, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I've been kind of putting off over the last 6-8 months. So got all that done, and in the meantime, there hasn't been any more earthquakes, even though there has been a whole bunch of aftershocks over there in Ridgecrest, California, but nothing where we're at now, and that's a good thing. But yeah, real quick, funny story before we hop into this location. So that evening when we had that 7.1 earthquake, me and a new friend of mine and his girlfriend, well, they wanted to take me out to this alkali flat, and out there was a hot springs. They wanted to go do some swimming in the hot springs, and I was just going to stand around and drink a cold beverage. And so when we got there, they couldn't go swimming because there was too many people in the hot springs. So we're just kind of standing around having conversation, and I was having a conversation with his girlfriend. She was leaned up against the car, and I forget what we were talking about, but just all of a sudden, as we were talking, she starts moving her hips back and forth, and she starts doing these little slow undulations, kind of like Elvis on stage. And I'm thinking to myself, well, by golly, this conversation isn't that interesting. And just about the time I started to snicker, she turned around, looked at that car, and said, "What the heck is wrong with this car?" And that's when I noticed it too. And the car's suspension is going up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's funny. I mean, it is a newer car. Maybe it has some sort of a weird electronic suspension I've never heard of, and it's moving up and down. But about that time, I took 2 steps back, and that's when I felt it. And the ground underneath our feet started rolling like a waterbed. And there's a reason for that, because like I said, out where we were, it was an alkali flat, which is what they call them, playas out here, a big, long, expanse, dry lake bed. And that's basically just the bottom of the valley. It's all alluvial rock. So when those waves transfer across that type of rock, rather than being real sharp and jutting, they kind of roll and undulate all the way across. So that's what we were feeling. Is the best way I can describe it is as if we were standing on a waterbed and somebody else was pushing up and down on the mattress like that, and that's what was making that car going back and forth like that. And it wasn't but 3 minutes later, everybody's cell phones started ringing, and calls coming in from family members throughout California that felt the quake. So yeah, needless to say, it turned out to be a pretty darn interesting evening. I've been in 3 earthquakes in my life. All 3 of them were real sharp, bang, kind of like that. This is the first one I've ever been in that actually had like a wave type undulation. Pretty cool. So what are we doing today? Well, we're going to kick things off with this really cool ore bin that we got here in front of us. I have never seen anything quite like this one, and I'm going to show you why here in a moment. Now behind me, there is a really, really, really cool site, and this location is so darn big, there's no way we're going to be able to get into it with just one episode. So I thought what we would do is we'd start at the top of the hill and take a look at this ore bin, and then we'd work back down into the mill site, of which there's another big mine down in there, but that may have to may have to save that one for next weekend. So what do you say we get started on this ore bin here? So the thing is probably about 30 feet tall, 15, 20 feet wide. Okay, and obviously they're bringing trucks in here and loading up the ore to take it down to the mill down in the valley. And look, they have a trestle going off to the left, and then high up on top there's a horseshoe shaped trestle up there on top, which is really, really interesting looking. I really wish, it would be so cool if I could turn around and point the camera down valley to give you a bird's eye view of the mill site and everything behind me. But I'm one of those people that believes that for every 1,000 people born, 2 were dropped on their heads, and they like to do things like spray paint stuff and break crap and set things on fire. And that's why I got to do the best that I can to kind of keep these sites kind of hush hush, so that we keep out the riffraff, so to speak. All right, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna work my way right over here. Let's get up on this first trestle and see what's going on, see what that's all about. I'll meet you up there. Okay, so we were just down below a minute ago, worked our way up here to give you folks an idea of what this trestle looks like. We got rail coming out this direction. Cool little stairs going up to the top of the ore bin chute. So imagine one time they were running ore cars here. But up on top we've got another like I said, a horseshoe shaped trestle. We'll get up there in a moment. Yeah, maybe if I'm real careful, I can walk along this here. Well, maybe I can. Oh, that rock's kind of loose. All right. What do you say we try to get over here? This looks interesting. Okay. There we go. Take a look underneath here. See that? Okay. So this ore bin goes off to the right. Tell you what, I'll meet back up with you folks here in a moment. I'm going to jump over to these boards, climb up there, and get up on top of this terrace. I'll be back in a minute. All right, we were just right over there a moment ago, and I climbed up here. Now we're on top of the terrace, right on the very top of this big ore bin. So they've got a grizzly here in front of us, and for those of you that don't know what a grizzly is, you see the gaps in between the rock. The gaps in between the steel here. All right, well that's just so that when they're letting the material down, any material that's smaller in diameter than the width of these gaps, that falls through. That's what they truck off to the mill site. Anything larger gets tossed aside and either heads back to it heads back to the crusher. They can crush it again, send it back through. See these rocks right here? Here's a whole bunch that they tossed aside that were too big to go through the grizzly. But take a look at this horseshoe design. We got one coming that way and one coming that way. What do you say I climb up the side of this over here? Let's get on top of the trestle and look at this thing. All right, I'll meet you over there. All right, so I was trying to find a way to get up to the top of that up there, and as I was working my way across, take a look at this here. Some sort of a furnace. Here's where they were kicking out whatever they were roasting, I'm guessing. You got a door right here that could have been used for cleaning out ash. I see another door right over here. Another ash clean out location, and around the side or actually I should say up top, we have some venting for air, and 2 more big air vent pipes right here sticking out. Wonder what this was all about. I can't imagine that they would be, why would they be roasting ore this high up on the hill when really their primary goal is just to get the rock out of the mine and get it down the ore bin so it can be taken out to the mill. Not quite sure what this is, folks. I'll tell you what, send me your best guess down there in the comments. Anyways, let's get through this brush here. I'm going to try to get up on top so we can get a nice view of this thing looking down. I'll meet you up there. All right, we're up here on the trestle and walking along it here, being real careful just to keep stepping on the main cross beams, because if we drop on through, it's going to be not a very fun fall. But yeah, that's where we just came from. We were down there, right down there. We had our ore bin here. Ooh, I'm not going to step on that plank. Big step. Okay. All right, let's see where this thing goes. Still see it on the ground right there. And it comes up to a compressor tank and straight to a haulage adit right there. Oh wow, and there is yeah, quite the breeze coming out of there. All right, but I'll tell you what, before we head in there, up on top of the hill here, there's some sort of a shaft with what I could see on Google Earth was some more rail and a bunch of timbers. So let's save this for a moment. I'm telling you right now, it's a haulage adit. So before we jump into this, why don't we jump up there, up on top of the hill and see what's going on. Maybe we can figure out why this thing has such a breeze coming out of it. Okay, I'll meet you further on up the hill. Okay, so I was trying to figure out how to get up the hill. I thought, yeah, probably the easiest thing would be to work the road that direction. And as I was walking this way, right here is what they're mining. It's real obvious. Take a look at all the stringers of quartz running through this limestone. Look at this. So they're going after stringer quartz. See, this type of stuff, it's not in a nice, big, wide, well-defined vein. What we have here is all of this limestone is really fractured, lots of cracks, and all them hydrothermal fluids, as we're working their way up, as the magma chamber cooled, and they're working their way into all these tiny little cracks. You can see them all through here. That's what they're going after. So that tells me that to mine this, because these stringers are so small, they're going to have to crush it up and before they put it across the mill site. Okay, I'm going to keep headed up on top of the hill. Meet you up there. All right, I'm further up the hill, and here we have a windlass right here. And a windlass is where they would mount a hand. It's basically a hand-operated winch. Okay, the bar goes across right there. Something like this would be set in a location where they're dropping the bucket down into like a winze, something like that, and then they're cranking that bucket and lifting it out. Look over here. There's a piece of tin where they were throwing on the ground. They'd throw the rocks up on top of that because it's easier to scoop the rocks off of a tin than it is to scoop them up off of rough ground. But over here, you can see, I thought that this was maybe the upper part of a stope, but it looks like this is as far as they were going in. right there. A lot of natural alluvium. See these rocks right here? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep working further off to the left, and if I find something over there, I'll hit record. Okay, meet you over there. Okay, I didn't walk but maybe 50, 75 feet further off to the left side of the hill over here, and we've got another adit right here in front of us. But along the way I found two interesting things. Here's the bottom of an old bottle. Like I said, you can always tell when they're old. Look at how thick the glass is on there. And this one was made, we have a 56 here and a 40 over there. But this is what I call the M date. If you look on the bottom of the boxers, M stands for manufactured. All right. So it's 12, so that'd be December 1st, 1941. So if you see the bottles, like I said, if there's an M on it, that means manufacturer, and they'll have the date on them like that, 1941. And then along the way, look at there, I found some more limonite. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going after in here, if indeed it's a limonite formation, or if they're going after more of that stringer quartz. Okay. Oh, look at here. Well, this looked like an adit, but no, we've got something else going on. What do we have here? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at this, folks. Holy cow. Holy cow. Look at the size of this open stope. Good golly. Never underestimate a determined miner, huh? Look at that. This room is probably, I don't know, 30 feet in diameter, 40 feet long, and from top to bottom, I'm going to say that's an easy 50 feet. Okay. Well, let's see if we can get down here without tripping and falling to our death. There we go. Oh yeah, working it over there. We've got something off to the left here. Okay. Well, before we keep working our way into that big room, let's see what this is all about. Oh yeah, you can kind of see what they were going after. Look at all the pyrites in that. Let's get up in here and see if we can see anything. Well, this one played out. I'm just looking at the geology real quick, folks. We got a little bit of limonite running through here. Seeing a lot of calcification. Pyrites, you can see them sparkling in there. Okay. Moving on. Sheesh, you could fit about 2 or 3 city buses in this place. Okay, what do we have? Well, just like with everything, I always eat my dessert last. So before we head over there, why don't we go over here, see what's going on. Oh yeah. Yep, like I was telling you, they're rolling that ore down in this hole. That's an ore pass. So when we finally do explore that adit back down there by old Bob, that's what it's going to be. That's where they rolled the ore down. But what do we have over here? Whoops. Stop kicking rocks there. All right, what do we have here? Oh, it goes back out to one of those outside tiny little openings, but we have a whole bunch of dynamite boxes laying on the ground. Oh yeah, here we go. What do we have here? Trojan dynamite right there. Anything else with a label? Oh, here we have, look at here, we have somebody whittled a tamping stick right there. And there's another one laying here. There's a broken tamper. And, aha. There we go. Explosives. What's left of a dynamite box right there? Oh, look at here. We got lucky. Oh, hold on one second. Trying to do things with one hand. There we go. Trojan explosives. Okay. What do we have hiding back in here? So you got to look in all these nooks and crannies. You just never know what you're going to find. So places like this that are so darn remote. There's always a good chance you're going to find cool artifacts. Okay, that's it for this one. Let's work back over here. Big pile of wood off to my left, and that's what they were using for a stand. Oh, looky here. Okay. What do we got? An ore pass? No. Well, maybe at one time they were going to make it into one, and then they just quit. We've got a ladder going up there, and let's see, what else do we have? Aha, some stalls with a platform. I'm going to see if I can't get up this ladder, try to get up onto that terrace right up here without falling into the pit of doom, because the fact that they left that platform up there, I really would like to see what kind of material that they were going after. So I'll tell you what, I'll just leave the camera rolling, because y'all know if this thing breaks and I fall down into that hole, it makes for some really good video. Well, okay, I tell you right now, I'm not going to be able to take my walking stick with me. Now, if I'm real careful, I can just hop up here. Oh boy. Hey, that wasn't so bad. There we go. What do we have? A bunch of pack rat droppings. Ugh, it's musty up in here. Yeah, they've been really making a home of this. Here we go. All right, let's see what they were going after. Well, I'm not seeing anything that's just, standing out and waving a flag in my face, folks. So that tells me maybe what they were doing is they worked it out. They cleaned it out, and then they stopped. But hey, I've always wanted to point this out. Here, let me try to get a good vantage point for you folks. All right. So, as everybody already knows, because I'm sure you've watched a bunch of other mine videos, including mine, these things here, these are called Stalls. All right. But I want to let you know that a common misperception of stalls is everybody seems to think that they put them in place to hold the rock up so that this stuff doesn't fall away from the back of the mine. That is true. They are doing that. See how they put a wedge in place? So what they do is they get the stole in place, they put it on an angle, and then they wedge it in real hard. But like I said, that's not the only reason why they wedge stoles in place, like to hold up this big rock here. The other reason is to create a platform. Because if you didn't have a platform, if you didn't have a platform with boards going across two stoles, well, what are you gonna stand on as you're working your way to get that ore climbing higher up into a stope? That's why when you watch these mine exploring videos, and I'm sure you've seen some where as these guys walk into these great big ballrooms, these great big stoped out areas, and you see all these stalls. Well, you have to imagine at one time, a lot of those stalls had these boards going across them so that the men had a place to stand while they're using their drill and drilling up higher and higher. Then, when they get done working a site, they remove all these cross boards, drop them down the stole, put them in a big pile like what you have down here where we just were. And what do you have left? You have a great big area with all these stoles back and forth all throughout a stoped out area. Okay? Let's call it the story of the stall. All right. What do we say we work our way back down? We gotta put Mr. Flashlight away, and we're gonna be real careful here. I don't want to fall down into that big hole. There we go. Yeah, that wasn't hard. Okay, what do we have here? A piece of rail. All right. Okay, well, what do you say we head back out and then switch out cameras and head down into the ore pass and see what that's all about. Okay, meet you back outside. All right, folks, we're back down here at the main haulage at it. Let's explore this old mine. All right, little bit of a squeeze. There we go. Not too bad. Okay, what do we have in here? Well, boy, there is a lot of pressure on that board. Oh, jeez. What do you say we get past this little spot? There we go. Oh, goodness. That is ugly. Okay. Let's see what we got going. Lots of fractured rock, and yeah, these are definitely collapses in here, folks. This is not backfill. We have rail on the floor, and we've got a nice breeze in our face. That's always good. But let's hope that all this rock on the floor here there isn't going to be any more coming down on us, because holy cow. Okay, what do we have here? We have a ladder going up, and they were working into a stope there. Okay. Let's see what we have going on down here. And that's it, folks. Remember, I pointed out to you guys the top of the ore pass and the big open stope ballroom where we were. Yeah, this is where all that material is coming down, right here. And okay, so turning back around. And looking up this ladder here. Oh, that's a really, really good looking ladder, folks. And even if anything was to happen, I'm only going to be falling 12 feet. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to, I'm going to climb up this ladder, and I'll meet you folks up on that terrace up there. I'll meet you up there. Okay, made it up here. Yeah, that was a really good inset ladder, really nice shape. It's only about maybe 25 feet tall. Climbed it up to here, and it goes into back up, you can see, into a tiny little stoped out area up in there. Let's look back in there real close, see if we can find any artifacts, and I'm not seeing anything hiding. Okay, turning back around. A lot of stoles here holding this back up are all natural. And it looks like, well, what do we got going off here to the right? Oh, look at here. So there's that tin. Remember when we were in that big open stope? There's the tin that I dropped those rocks down. Look, above it we've got a false floor type thing going on there. And then down here, and we're not getting down there, but they did have a grizzly. So why, if they put a grizzly in, okay. Yeah, that's right. Think about this. We're 25 feet higher than the haulage at it that we just crawled up and out of. So that's where the collapse is coming from. Okay. What do we have over here? Oh, more bits and pieces of dynamite boxes. All right. And over here. Oh, that is some nasty looking rock here, folks. Let me see if I can peek up in here without one of these bad boys. Oh, we're not going to go any. Oh boy, we're not going any further. No. Let's get out of here. That's really, really bad looking. There was big widowmakers hanging right above my head. Okay, well, I'm going to have to climb this ladder back down. So I'll meet you folks back down there. See you down there. Okay, we made it to the bottom. And as I was saying, yeah, right over here, below that grizzly, there's where the collapse is. Okay. All right. Now, let's carefully work our way back out of here. So, what is... I hate it when my backpack rubs up against the back of the mine. Ooh, that's scary. What's a widowmaker? A widowmaker is a rock that's just barely hanging by a thread. And if it does decide to let loose, you don't have any time whatsoever to get away from it. Like, look at this. You see how this is all bowed? Let's get past this real quick. Here we go. Okay, folks, I'll meet you back outside. Okay, folks, we're back outside, safe and sound. Holy cow. Go ahead and rewind the footage. Did you folks see the Widowmaker hanging there right above my head? Now, I know that sometimes, see, the camera, okay, the camera is kind of, it's all in 2 dimensions, okay? So you're only seeing, you know, only so much. You're not seeing, like, you know, all the way around like what I'm seeing. That thing was hanging on there by a thread. It probably weighed half a ton right above my head. But yeah, Widowmaker, that's a rock that's just barely dangling. I mean, one more little shake or whatever, and there's no time to get away from it, because it'll just go boom like that, and it's on you, and you're squished like a bug. So, well, that was exciting. That's what they were doing in there. They cut themselves in a main haulage at it to get to that big open stope. Threw it all in the ore bin behind me. Still can't figure out why the heck they were deciding to roast ore or had a furnace this high up on the hill. That kind of stymies me a little bit. But anyways, okay, so we're going to start heading back down off this hill. And on the way up here, I saw, I think it was either 2 or 3 adits alongside the road as we're going to work our way down the hill before we get to the mill site. So let's start going that direction, and I'll meet you at the next adit. Okay, folks, back again. Like I said, I'm working my way, me and old Bob, back down the hill, and there's adits along the way. So I don't know if they're going to be substantial, but hey, let's check them out, huh? Let's see what we have here. It's a little bit of a bend to the left. Oh, we have a bat. There we go. You know, it's been a while since we've seen a bat, but no, just a pack rat nest, and that's going to be the end of this one. Turning back around, goes over to a little open stoped out area. All right, let's head back outside, jump in old Bob, continue our way back down the mountain, see what else we can find. Meet you back out there. Okay, folks. We probably drove, well, maybe another few hundred yards further on down the mountain. And here we have another adit. Let's see what this one's all about. Okay, it's kind of a squeeze getting in here. There we go. I sure like a mine that, oh, no wonder my crazy camera is not working right. I got it on the wrong setting. There we go. Okay, must have pressed the wrong button. Let's see what this one's all about. So you see how they're probing this whole hill for that limonite and that stringer quartz. I mean, look at it right here. Here we got a nice little right there. And let's shine the flashlight up in there. Oh boy. This goes further up in here than what I expected from the size of the waste rock pile outside. Okay. Oh, shoot. You know what I did, folks? Well, by golly. Okay, let's see here. I'll meet back up with you folks right at this point here in just a moment. Be right back. Okay, back again. You know what I forgot? I forgot my backpack. You can't go into the mine without extra food, water, batteries, and everything else you need to survive in case something bad happens. That would be pretty foolish. Okay, what do we have here? They had put in a water pipe right there. It is kind of moist in here. Oh, don't tell me. Come on now. Don't tell me I went all the way back out to get my backpack. Only to discover that the mine goes but just a few more feet in. All right, if the rocks could laugh, they'd be chuckling right now. Okay, but hey, look it down here on the floor. Look at what I'm finding. At least I can show you this. So he asked me, what are they going after? Right there. See those stringers of quartz going through that rock? That's what they're taking down to the mill site and crushing up. All right. I'm going to head back outside, hop in Mo Bob, and we're going to continue on to the next one. Meet you out there. Back again, guys. So look at there. I'm coming down the road. Look at what I just barely missed. They left a piece of drill steel here in the road. I just caught it out of the corner of my eye in the very, very last second. And no, she's stuck in there. I'm glad I caught that out of the corner of my eye. That would definitely rip through something bad. Just wanted to point that out. The perils of mine exploring. Okay, continuing on down the mountain. See you down there. Okay, back again. So we just came from, we were right up there somewhere. And this road's kind of like a switchback's working its way down the mountain. And I glanced off to my left and I saw a big old portal. I'm like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at the size of that thing. I raced over here. Okay, getting all excited that we found something big. And yeah, it's a big portal, but wah, wah, wah. It just stops right there. So at one time they were going to make a big one here, and that's where she stops. Any critters hiding back there? Here, Mr. Rattlesnake. Nope. Darn. Wouldn't that have been something, huh? That would have been a big one. Okay, well, let's continue on down the mountain. See you down there. All right, back again, folks. I found a good vantage point here where I can kind of give you a top-down view of the mill site that we're headed over to without actually revealing its location. But you can see down there, so there's the mill. We've got a couple mill houses over there. And then off to the right over there, we've got a bunkhouse and a couple other cabins down in there. That's where we're headed next. Okay? All right. So I'll see you down there. All right, back again, folks. You know, I was, trust me, I had all the intentions of heading down to that mill site to show you that. I thought I could fit it in on this episode. But look at here, on the way down, I told you this was a huge site. Look at what we have. And I'm looking down at my feet here before we walk any further. Look at that lovely quartz coming out of there. Quartz that ended up in the waste rock pile. See it there? Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. So yeah, found another road. What do we have up here? I had to take a double take. I thought, no, that can't be, because this one isn't even on the map. Like, I'll be darned. We have ourselves another portal. Well, let's see. Before we head over there, what do we have over here? Looks like what's left of an old bed frame. Okay. What do we have here? See, this is why I'm going to great lengths to make sure that I'm documenting this in such a way to where someone that has nefarious intentions cannot find this site. As you can see, look at where we're at. You don't see any BLM warning, do not enter, stay out, stay alive, or any of that stuff here, because this location is so remote. Okay, well, let's look around the corner, see what we're getting ourselves into. Oh boy. Oh, isn't that lovely? Nice, big old hard rock mine. Well, okay, it's back to old Bob. Switch out cameras. I'll meet back up with you folks right here at this point. See you in a bit. Okay, back again, folks. Let's see, switched over to the better camera. Let me check something real quick here. There we go. That's my O2 sensor. What you do is you can just breathe into it, and the carbon dioxide from your breath will set it off. There we go. It's a good way to double check, make sure she's working. All right, let's explore this old mine. It's super damp and very cool in here. What do you say we shoot down the, there we go. No, we don't need Mr. Laser on. Okay. Okay, well, we have a drift off to the left and the right. Let's go to the right. Nice big mine. Nice hard rock. You really hear my echo. And, I would say we're probably 6 feet across on the floor, 7 feet on the ceiling. I'm sorry, on the back of the mine. You got to use the proper terminology. There's a bunch of string on the floor. Makes me wonder if somebody was afraid they were going to get lost, so they stretched string out. The rock is really, really dark in color, and it's absorbing all the light. That was an old can of WD-40 on the floor there. Lubrication. Wow, look at all these fresh pack rat nesting material laying on the floor. All right, let's poke our light up in there. Holy cow. We got a big mine. Big mine. And I'm walking pretty fast, folks. Think of it like a fast walk. Still lots of cross ties on the floor. Oh, hey, looky here. Yummy. Look at this quartz vein. Beautiful. Isn't that pretty? There's a nice stringer running through here. Yeah. Okay, let's keep on going. Just bends to the right. Just like a stroll in the park. Something very cool geologically jumps out at me. I'll be sure to point it out to you guys, but so far, like for example, that pretty looking vein right there, look at him. That's what they're going after. So this tells me this is an ore pass, and they're trying to get to the underneath some sort of an ore body. Oh, or did we come to the end? Yep. That's it, folks. And there you can see one of the veins that they were chasing, one of many. They're scattered all throughout this rock, just a whole host of stringers. Okay, well, I'm not going to leave the camera on. That was kind of a boring ore pass. I'll meet you folks back at the intersection back there. Okay, see you back there. All right, back again, folks. And we have a pack rat right there. See him? He's saying, "What are you doing in my house?" I know that light's kind of bright. Let's see if I can find a better... okay, here we go. All right, let's see if we can... Here he goes. He's walking. He says, "What are you doing in my house? Get out of here." "What are you doing, Mr. Pack Rat? Huh?" "Well, hello. I bet you don't see people in here very often, do you?" No, it's okay. Yeah, no. It's all right. Oh, you got a little house up in there? Is that? Let me see. Can I look? Oh, yeah. See, right up in that little crack. See how them pack rats can fit? Look, he went up into that crack, and it's only maybe the width of my finger. And that's where he has his little house. Okay. Always good to see critters. Okay, I'm still working my way back out to that intersection. I'll meet you over there. Okay, made it back to the intersection. We just came from the one over there to the right. Now we're going to head down this way. Let's see what this one's all about. Holy cow, look at here. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but look at the bugs. Pooey! Get out of my mouth. Jeez. Let's get further on in here. Nice vein running off there. There we go. Little tiny gnats is all they are. Okay. Well, let's point the light up further, see what this one... Oh, way back up in there. And there's actually a fog. Just a slight little fog in the air. Because outside, oh, I don't know, it's probably around, I should have checked the thing on my arm. It's about 93 degrees today. I had to pull old Bob over a couple of times because he was getting a little bit hot climbing up this up to this location. There's a looks like what's left of a maybe a tampon rod, I don't know. Looks like end of a broom handle. Again, this is a more modern mine, so we're gonna cruise on down here just as nice and fast. And if something really interesting pops out, I'll be sure to show it to you. Huh. Oh, this rock is really dark. Look at how it just soaks the light up. Ugh, it's musty. And this is as far as it goes. Let's look up in the face here and see if... Oh, hey, Mr. Packrat. How you doing there, buddy? You have a surprised look in your eye there, feller. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll get out of here. Let me just kind of show my audience what's going on here at the face of the mine. All right, so yeah, nothing really going on. They're just drilling through country rock, and that's about it. So apparently they never made their way all the way up to the underside of whatever ore body or vein they were chasing after. All right, Mr. Packrat. We'll see you later. Hang loose, buddy. Okay. Let's head back out. Okay, well, I'm not going to take you with me heading back out of this thing because it's pretty darn boring, so I'll just meet you folks back outside. Okay, I'll see you out there. All right, folks, we're back outside. Worked our way out of that mine a little bit further on down the mountain. Now we're down here to the mill site, but unfortunately, this is going to have to be it for this episode, folks. Yeah, why don't we do this? Let's save this location for next weekend. We've got a whole bunch of buildings around here. We've got miners' cabins off to my right, more cabins off to my left, not to mention a giant portal up here on top of this tailings pile right up here. And I'm guessing, looking by the size of these tailings piles, that's probably going to be the most significant mine in this entire area. So yeah, what do you say we just hold off and save it for next weekend, and that's when we will head on in here and see what this mill site's all about. But oh, well, it does say danger, keep out. Well, you know that's just Yiddish for hey, welcome, come on in. All right, folks. Well, hey, thanks for coming along, and as always, I appreciate all my new subscribers coming on board. Thank you so much. I'm really happy that you're enjoying these videos as much as I'm enjoying being out here crawling into these holes for you. I'm sure I'm having a lot of fun, and as I can see from the comments, you guys are too. And once again, I really do appreciate it. And like I always say, if you know anybody else out there in the world that's interested in this sort of thing, by all means, share it with your friends, and that would be great. Okay, well, I'm going to get on out of here, and I guess we will see you next weekend so we can explore this mill site. Okay, see you then. Take care now. Bye-bye.